Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So this is Long Hee, and part of the team from Penn State. So the members from Penn State, we have Dr. Paul Hanneman and myself as the faculty members. And then for this project, we currently have one student working on specifically on the bud detection and bud thinning. But in the past, we have a few students actually working on the project at different capacity. That's along the line of the crop load management. So I'm talking about briefly just some of those work. So go through all the crop load management processes. We actually touched each individual ones. So we have work a little bit on the dormant pruning and like flower buds detection and thinning and blossom and also green fillets. So for a robotic pruning system, I was so happy that you has actually worked on the tree structures and the branch detection and everything measurements. And then we actually didn't look into the vision part, but mainly focused on the mechanical system development for pruning. So here's two prototypes that worked on how we can use the mechanism to cut branches at a certain size and different orientations. So you can see that there's two prototypes. One is using called a Cartesian system. It's more like linear action for moving the end effector up and down, in and out. But particularly, we have the cutting scissors on a multi-degree freedom mechanism that actually can maneuver within the constrained canopy, so we can actually target the branches at different orientations. And then we tested on different tree branches, but up to 1 inch we can cut. And definitely this need to be scaled up. And another one is we put the cutter mechanism into a more like industrial robotic arms, 6-degree freedom arms. And we did some path planning to move into different location of branches and how we can cut those. So like I said, we are more focused on the mechanism development, but next level is to integrate this into machine vision and the path planning. We will look forward to do that with Cornell. And then moving to the flower bud detection, we worked on like using different type of machine vision platforms to record images from the trees. We look into the flower buds at early stage before the green tip, like silver tip, or even before, and then green tip and entire clusters. We took images at different stages of the tree development and tree buds development, and those lower part is like showing the 3 different imaging systems we used for data collection. And then and based on those, we're using AI models to actually to train those images and get the flower buds detection for that purpose. And then next level is we're trying to see how we can using the information from those images, the bud counts for thinning. For the bud thinning, like for example, if we have too many buds on a branch, how we can probably possibly remove some of them at the early stage for the crop load management. And then this is a video showing like we go into the branch level, and then we can actually go in to see count how many buds on each branch. Of course, the horticulture aspect is like the size of branch matters. How many of the buds will be bearing fruits. So we actually also measure the branch size and then see how many flower buds on those branches and see if we need to actually do the bud thinning or we can keep the buds as it is. And then now we are actually the students working on the bud thinning decisions and actuations. For example, after we have this buds detection and count how many buds in certain branches, and then we know, like for example, there are too many buds on a particular branch, and then which one we probably should remove. Normally, we want to measure the distance between the buds, and then trying to follow the horticulture rules, like we should keep the buds from each other at a certain distance. And if they're too close, then maybe we should remove the ones that are close to each other. And those are how we have make the decisions for bud thinning. And on the right side is a prototype that we put together with actually a camera system plus a mechanism for cutting the buds. So you can see like we have the camera there to put actually on two levels. One is global, as more like on the platform. Another one is actually put on the end effector, so we have two levels of the detection, and then we will, like I mentioned earlier, we'll count the buds and then make a decision which one should go to remove, and then the cutter system will be going to remove those buds. So we did some premier tests last year, and but we didn't do the full automation last year, so we actually can cut flower buds pretty effectively. So this coming season in 2026, we're actually trying to integrate them together to put this test on some of the 2D dimension or narrow canopy tree structures and see how we can reduce the bud number for some of those branches. And then we have been doing this at branch level. Eventually, we're trying to see how we can scale up to the tree level. So because one tree has a target number of fruits, and then so we will look into the images that combine sections of the trees and integrate into the full tree level, and then trying to do from there. So we also have been working on the blossom thinning, so more like precision or targeted blossom thinning. So we had developed imaging system for detecting flowers and flower clusters within the tree canopy. This is a particular study. We work on a 2D dimensional, so we actually detecting 2D dimensional trees, that how many flower clusters on each section. And then for the chemical thinning, we're trying to using a kind of controllable sprayer nozzles to spray only to those flower clusters. When the flower cluster presence, we can spray. If there's empty space or nothing present there, we will not spray. And then this video just briefly show we have sprayed to those flower clusters very precisely. And of course, this test was done with very kind of well-trained 2D dimensional canopy. We also did a lot of imaging for flower and flower cluster detection with more like a little bit of complex canopy, like tall spindle trees. And then we'll also get a pretty good results for the flower clusters detection. But once, I think most of the high accuracy detection is at earlier stage. Once the flower fully bloom and the tree has a lot of flower clusters, and then the accuracy will be decreasing. And within this study, we actually detect 93% of flower clusters correctly, and then we did reduce chemical usage by comparing to the conventional spray for the tree canopy for the full scale spray, about more than 50% of chemical saving. So then we also did some work on the green fruitlets thinning, and then our approach is to remove excessive fruits mechanically. So so first step, like we're also using a machine vision to identify the fruit clusters orientations, and then those kind of information that help us to move the robotic system to go to the fruits we should remove. So you can see that we did fruit detection, so we can see how many fruits on each individual trees, and orientation is more like where the how the fruits growing on within a cluster, and this actually help us to approach them. And then stem and fruits pairing. So we're trying to, for example, if we use the stem cutters to cut the stem off, then we need to know which fruits we are cutting. So we need to know the stem as well. So we do some stem pairing, and the clustering is like we're trying to remove the fruits from clusters. So we want to match the cluster with we're working within the cluster. We want to remain some fruits within one cluster. And this is the mechanism we developed. So we actually using simple structure of the cutters. You can see the fruits will be engaged into this tube, and then the cutters will be cut the stem off. And this is the video shows like how the fruits can be approached from the end effector. So we, for example, if there have 5 fruits in a cluster, and how if we want to keep 1 fruit, and how we can approach to other 4 fruits to remove them. And then eventually we did some tests with this cutting system, and we actually can remove 90% of the fruits that we have been targeted on. Of course, there's still some fruits that was occluded by leaves and others that we couldn't see, but within those fruits that we target, we can remove most of them. So at the last, I want to also discuss a little bit about one of our field trials with commercial available kind of technologies that Dr. Terence just mentioned about the variable rate applications. We also did a similar work at Pennsylvania that using similar technology. The one that we use also the vision system, Vivid Machines, and also the sprayer system we used from HSS is provided by supported by the Provide Agro from Canada. We did some sprayer calibrations and see how each nozzles actually can spray the certain amount at the setting. And then we did some field test with this system. That the work that we did with Dr. Shankuma at Penn State in 2-year data, 2024 and 2025. So here's this procedure that we used. We do first do the pre-thinning scouting. So we scout the fruit trees so we can actually the machine vision system that calculate the number of fruits at each individual trees, and then generate the fruit crop load map at this level. And then you see the fruit counts per tree can be distributed here. So we can very clearly see how many fruits on each individual tree and how they actually distribute in the field level. And then the spray map can be generated as well based on the fruit numbers. And so we can set up different spray rates with the number of fruits on each individual tree. So higher number of fruits will require a higher spray rate. And afterwards, we do another scan. After the standing, we do another scan to count the number of fruits still remaining on the tree. So this is just this is 2 experiment sites we did. One is at a Fuji apple orchards at our research center. Another one is Honeycrisp apple orchards in Adams County Nursery, and then they provide this resource for us to test as a kind of commercial setting. And then this is how the sprayer test in the field. You can see based on the map was pre-generated, and then the spray will go to the field and then spray to the trees at certain locations with GPS kind of GPS guided system. So some brief results from 2025. I want to see like for Fuji orchards, we have pretty normal kind of fruit numbers, and also pretty kind of the trees have not too much variations in terms of crop notes. But for Honeycrisp, we found like this year has a little bit light load, and also the variation from tree to tree can be very different, can be big. So some trees has a large number of flowers, but some of the trees has very few. So actually, if there's big variations among the trees, that the precision or variable rate application could be more useful. So you can see that we actually measure the fruit count per tree, and also yield per tree, and also the individual the average math for each individual apples. From those 2, we can see that the difference actually not too much between the precision and conventional spray put together. And then the chemical usage for the 2 orchards, we can see that the precision treatments actually saved a pretty good amount of chemicals thinners. Like I mentioned, Fuji block compared to Honeycrisp has a little bit more uniform kind of like crop load, and Honeycrisp has more variations. You can see the saving is higher. That's actually approved the variable rate applications is actually very good for the crop load when they have high variations within a block. I think that's all from Penn State. And then thank you. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer.